100 Thieves versus Luminosity. And guys, we have a brand new pick and ban system. If you're looking at this, having no idea what you're looking at, these teams are banning and picking for their team. And we right away have Emma Frost, best Vanguard in the game, banned for both teams right away, with Luminosity getting a secure on Magneto for themselves.
Interesting. I really like this advanced tournament ban system too, because you also are forcing diverse compositions. You're forcing these teams to be flexible.
Yeah, by far one of the most just engaging pieces of this is not mirror comps. You have completely different comps. What does it look like when a team has access to Luna and the other doesn't? 100 Thieves locking in Magneto, very important pick right now, very strong Vanguard. We're probably going to be seeing TTK on that, but I have seen Vinny as well play Magneto when Groot is not available. We have the ban going for Loki, which we do see often to shut down triple Vanguard, but Harvey, being a great Loki player, he's flexible. He doesn't have to have him, and it shows.
And it also shows that this team obviously doing their homework, right? You mentioned what a great player Harvey is on the Loki, though, having to be flexible. Luna and Storm also off the table.
Yeah, what we see a lot here in the 3 bans in a row you see for the bottom team of Luminosity is a lot of supports go here, and it kind of forces the comp for the top team to adjust. So we have Ultron, News Hero. You guys aren't going to see him in this matchup, and Luna gone as well. SJP being a lethal weapon with her Storm. There's no Jeff NATO. I could expect a lot of teams with not a lot of experience to try to rely on that crazy team up, but 100 Thieves, they're not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, none of that Jeff NATO shenanigans out here. They are going to be saving the Cloak and Dagger here on the side of 100 Thieves, so that's something else to keep in mind. While the last save here for LG is going to be interesting. You mentioned the 2 support bans here, the Groot being the other ban, and on the other side, you're going to be able to save the Ultron.
Yep, so no Ultron for 100 Thieves, but Luminosity's going to get access to that. Probably some Iron Man comp as well. I've been seeing Harvey switch over to Cloak and Dagger playing at an elite level, and why that works typically is with Magneto ban more often. You don't have to worry about that, no Hawkeye, but in this case, you do have both the strong counters for that ultimate. There we go, Harvey locking in right away, and I expect to see, there it is, the Iron Man and Ultron comp. No Ultron locked in quite yet, but that's probably what we'll see out here. As you see TTK, he's very familiar with the wizard himself, Doctor Strange, and Terra, the flexible DPS. He's gonna be playing some Punisher.
Okay, this is gonna be exciting. And you know what's also more exciting too, seeing that we are gonna get the Ultron perhaps here already for our first map on Krakoa. I feel like we didn't get to see too much Ultron actually in the other regions. I was noting that looking at a lot of the games that went down, so maybe seeing a little bit of a different look already off the rip within the Americas.
Yep, absolutely. To explain the maps real quick to everybody, the first map is always going to be Domination. And so Domination, random map, that's going to be the first bit. And then the losing team will get to pick the difference between Convoy and Convergence and the map as well. And then finally, the third team will have their choice if it does get to a match 3. So interesting enough, here we go. We kick things off at X-Men Island, Krakoa, to get things started.
Let's get it going, Cozy. I'm excited. My first time being able to support and cover Marvel Rivals here, and being able to see Legends, how they're going to be able to forge their own story off the rip is going to be important as we open things up with that Doctor Strange portal, just so that way they can close in the gap to face off against Luminosity on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. SJP playing that role of Loki, and Harvey and the Cloak love this new strategy we're seeing out of them. Delena being that hella goat that we typically see. And we're going to have 2 different hit scans going crazy as they do have access to Iron Man. But this is going to be a tough match for March to play a flyer with these 2 duelists.
Oh, so you have the ability to work around this, though, here. Already, 100 Thieves trying to face this off, trying to play around the middle point here, too. Luminosity with March being over the skies on this Iron Man, still having to navigate away, but he can't get away in time. You've highlighted Delena before, and for reasons like this, you're going to have to be careful taking the skies against this goddess of death.
Yeah, I mean, he was just right out there in the open, and yes, they had a dedicated healer, but he was taking a lot of heat early. Vinny getting a nice trade there for Magneto, but Alpha doing the trading as well. This first point is the most important in Domination. Usually the first person to capture it is going to have so much advantage because you're going to have the ult charge, and it snowballs from there. TTK, though, taking out, but we have a trade. Alfie taking out Delena as well.
Off of a little bit of a splash there, too, with Ready already activating that ult. You have Yang Hisu as well, going to be able to look to see if you can use that Luna Snow ult just to help with the survivability. The Agamotto, but already right through the Luna ult. You have to worry about the Punisher. Magneto, perfect save off that shield to completely shut them down.
Right away, we've got the ultimate fireworks coming out. We have Terra taking down Iron Man, Vinny trading there, and beautiful use of ults early. We typically don't see it that fast into a game before even a point capture, but there it is. 100 Thieves, they do get the point here, and now they're going to be pushing back Luminosity into their spawn, but I got to say right away, Luminosity, great first fight. I was impressed for what I saw.
And didn't use everything too, right? Of course, we did see the fate of both worlds used up just so that way they could survive, but then the retaliation from 100 Thieves shutting them down. But at least coming in, Haluk will be able to have that Venom ult ready to go, as well as Spenny with the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, 100 Thieves did have to use a lot to secure that as well. And if we look, both support are down here on Ultimate. But Spinny, who is not a stranger to the spotlight, he did play on Rad Esports in the Invitational. He's got that internal bond ready to go. And Venom obviously trying to get that poke early. And he's going to look maybe to put the pressure on here in the back line. Can he get to Harvey and SJP? They're so known for surviving and being unkillable.
See if they could just drop him down, but you know the problem here in this equation is Delena, who's also got that Goddess of Death ready to go just in case you need a quick reset. As Haluk dances around the vines just a little bit, trying to dive into the backline real quick, gets everybody into the Venom ult. The answer back from Delena, just so that way they could put in the pressure after Haluk tried to make a big play, but was shut down almost instantaneous here. At the same time, Luminosity did have that Cloak and Dagger ultimate that we had mentioned before here too, just to help with that sustainability. But still, they had lost out on Haluk at the very beginning.
The purple goo is everywhere. Everybody's got an internal bond out. Great opening from Haluk, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like they can capitalize as Delena is just throwing the thorns down. Now has extra with that patch. Hella just being insane in Terra. We're going to see a lot of this today. Look at Frank Castle going crazy with the big guns on that ultimate. Terra, you could do it all.
Terra and Delena are two scary players, the way that they just won back-to-back team fights like this, almost 0 to 100 situation. As we see the Hail Mary portal play now coming in from Luminosity, they at least do have 2 ults to work with if they make it on time.
Yeah. The Vanguard's gonna have to go out first. They're gonna have no extra protection, so this is going to be tough here, Brady. They're probably gonna save on to these ultimates for the next round, but we'll see if they end up pop. Feels good. Yes, they do have themselves some space here. They're actually getting themselves the SJP, at least for the moment, is gonna have to use Eternal Bond, which is just a win in itself for Luminosity. 2 trades here though, Vicky, and they're able to get something going momentum-wise until TTK and Delena are shutting down those dreams.
Oh, but SJP, his survivability right here, just to keep himself in the game after transforming right out of Cloak and Dagger, forcing them off, and that was still expending an ult from Brady, nonetheless, without them being able to turn over that first point.
Honestly, good patience there from 100 Thieves. They didn't use too many ults. They did have SJP fire away that Eternal Bond to ensure the safety, but TTK still loaded up, ready to go. We take a look here. Alfie doing a lot of the work there on Magneto, going crazy there for Team Luminosity, but Terra, you can't stop him. Delena, the 1-2 punch that we've seen for 100 Thieves. If you guys don't know, this is one of the best teams right now in perhaps the world that we're looking at, and it is showing.
Also, the flexibility between Terra and Delena. Delena being that immediate problem, but then you first have to get through TTK. You have to get through Terra, who's also covering Delena. It's a lot to deal with here, but Luminosity, they were really unable to find their footing at the beginning. We know how strong momentum is, though, in a game like Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, so we do have the Hella ultimate for March, but we're going to be able to get that in trade with Vinny and Magneto's ultimate, so we can look for that to be defensively used. But then the Agamotto could open up the perfect, just clear-cut capture of the point that we might see here from TTK as the gangs go underway here. No one TPing in, just taking up the good old middle path.
See TTK, Vinny, ults ready to go. March as well. Alfie making some changes already. Having control here with Grow 2 is going to be so big, Cozy.
Yeah, Brady here showing a little bit of their flexibility as well. He does like to play Storm, Human Torch, but going over to this Star-Lord now, trying to get that pressure. Star-Lord is awesome for the neutral fights. There's TK with the Agamotto. He's only going for a few, but he does capture those few as both strategists, Spinny and Luna, going down, and Terra doing the rest on the left side. That's exactly what they wanted to implement.
Also, the isolation from TTK, we saw that Luminosity were kind of spread thin right there, and TTK finding the Eye of Agamotto before getting the follow-up, and then once again overtaking that point first.
Yeah, and they did not have to use much. Just that eye, with Vinny now having the Meteor Im ready for the defensive play as well. Yes, Spinny did get that ultimate online to give them a little bit more protection, but Harvey can match that quite easily. It's been fun to watch Harvey play Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, people typically think Cloak and Dagger is the easy hero, but we have one of the best supports in the world. Strud just playing that hero, and here comes Freddy with a little bit of side action and getting SJP with the early poke.
Oh no, knock knock. Punisher comes in here. Bit of both worlds, tries to push in with the Magneto ult immediately. Great save once again that we're seeing from 100 Thieves playing ring around the Rosie. Here comes a Cloak and Dagger ult from the other side, the Eternal Bond, just to keep them alive. Love the mobility that we're currently seeing from Terra. The way that they are dancing around Luminosity. They take out March, who is unable to utilize that ult right before going down first, and it's going to be another team fight win in favor for 100 Thieves.
Now, I feel for Alfie because sometimes you're able to completely counter Punisher and that ultimate with the Magneto ult. Sometimes the bubble, it bursts, and then you're left helpless and taking all the bullets right through the chest. Even though he can stop metal, it's not enough to stop Terra and Frank Castle, who we expect to see a lot today. I can almost guarantee you a ban will be coming for Punisher from Luminosity, as that is the clear difference right now.
The actual problem to look at too, the fact as well how strong Magneto is as a tank alone is just been so impressive. The save right there just to help enable 100 Thieves, and look how many ultimates they have online now.
Yeah, and March has not used theirs. They've got to start. Luminosity's got to use their ultimates here, as we have Brady kicking off with the legendary, but there is the defensive ult, and he is nice flip there, avoiding the meatball there from Vinny, as we're getting some more pressure as March takes down Vinny. This could be at least a flip of the point here for Luminosity. They're going to use all their ults to do it, but Terra, nope, making quick swift justice with the bullets to Hella, and he wiped out the team with TTK.
I mean, Terra too, even though he goes down right there, the amount of headshots that we're seeing, the amount of coverage, the damage output for 100 Thieves as they shut down that first map.
My goodness. I mean, Cradle to Grove, those are just completely 100 Thieves, and that's the way you want to open the birth of esports. If you're 100 Thieves, you are known as the team on top, and what happens when you're one of the best teams? Well, everything is brought to you, and they rose up to the occasion. And we talked about Terra being one of the best duelists, right up there with Sparker, and he's showcasing his flexibility, his damage, and map 1, Krakoa, goes to 100 Thieves.
In a dominating way too. Taking a look at the stats real quick as well, the damage output too, Terra popping off 18.6k here, and it really has to go towards the saving that we saw from the other side. Magneto being as strong as he is, but sometimes, man, that damage output, you have to think about more things here and try to enable some of these ults.
Look at just this perfect synergy. You've got the bubble on Terra, just making sure he does not get eliminated. You've got the Eternal Bond keeping him up as well. And these are highlights, Vicky, but this is also just the Terra showcase. I mean, we're just watching non-stop eliminations here as we get 4 in a row there from Terra. That was one of the defining plays of this matchup. And I'm telling you, I think there's going to be a ban here. I don't think we're going to see Terra's Punisher next map.
Also, just highlighting the flexibility between Harvey and SJP, right? It's not just Harvey out here with that Loki too, as you highlighted earlier on in that second round, but then being able to also force the attention from LG to be split thin, looking like chameleons, right? Looking in one direction, looking in the other, and then having to focus around 100 Thieves. I feel like it was LG and their utility of navigating through those ults, so that way it wouldn't be staggered as much as we had seen, even at the very end there for March.
Yeah, listen, TTK, top tier kid, I'm sure he is pumped that Doctor Strange is back in the meta after those lovely patch notes that came out in 2.5. You know, it was cool because Punisher, we did not see a lot of play before this season, at least in top level play. So to see what Frank Castle brings to rivals and what having a shock and having the crazy ultimate speed truly brings to the table. I thought Magneto play was good, but honestly, what I noticed was not a lot of final hits, if any, from the duelists of Luminosity.
That's a very good point. And talking back towards Punisher, having that final judgment when you're also in a meta dealing with some flyers at the same time could really help clear up space. But in a case like that, from what we had seen, just clearing up a lot of pressure from the opposing team that had to force their way onto the point on that first round very last minute.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the pick bans right now, is that there's so many good duelists, but not only that, 100 Thieves, what do they specialize in? And what do the top tiers specialize in? Flexibility. You stop my Punisher, I'm going to play Psylocke, I'm going to play Wolverine. They have so many options to play for, and they have these different comps that they've prepped for, they've scrimmed for. Now, listen, backs against the wall, Luminosity, you're down 0-1. It's double elimination, but you showed that in map 2 there, you can hold a fight The ultimate management is the thing that I think needs the most correction as we head into the next map.
Definitely agree with you there. We talked about it a little bit in round 2 where we saw maybe ults being held for a little too long there. Maybe not being able to find that momentum that we had highlighted earlier too.
Yeah, and I got to say, as somebody who's watched a lot of 100 Thieves, in the MRI, they were the Empire and everyone else was the Rebellion. They just dominated that tournament. Then we get to the MRC and it was a different story. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's take a quick, brief break here, and then we're going to hop in to what is going to be a crazy map 2. Hello and welcome back. We have map 2 for 100 Thieves versus Luminosity. Map 1, Vicky, firmly belonging to 100 Thieves. Punisher, bullets for voice lines. He said a whole monologue. I mean, that was pretty much what we saw there.
He was truly the executioner that you got to worry about, right? Because you look immediately at the way that first map went down and you wonder, you know, those bans, I don't know if it was even really helpful in terms of LG, NA, but how they were able to navigate around the Punisher, Terror is just so good.
Yeah, I think that, that match was lost in the pick ban phase. Listen, it's a new pick ban and there's a lot to kind of digest, and also trying to think about what they're going to do versus just having Terra being so flexible. We know Delina's going to go Hella, if not Hella, maybe Namor, but Terra can flex around that. I don't even know if Punisher will get banned. Maybe they will because it's recency and the memory of what just happened. But I saw enough from the Vanguards from Luminosity. I need to see those duelists that I was told to watch out for. I need to see what they've got in store here for map 2.
What do you think about the Venom attempt, actually? You know, you and I were kind of picking each other's brains about what we saw in that first map and what maybe we could see going forward. That Venom pick not doing so bad, but just the composition maybe not working out, being as cohesive.
Yeah, you know, they started with that Iron Man comp and they had some Ultron going on, but when you have a Punisher and a Hela on the other side, Venom's not going to be able to do enough of that distraction because you have nothing to follow up. We saw Haluk actually get a nice little dive in, but there was no follow-up to it, and then it ultimately led to the snowball. That was 100 Thieves taking the point. Would like to see them a bit more confident in their choices here, and again, it starts at the pick and ban phase. If you're just now joining again, these picks and bans are for the teams, and again, Emma Frost is gone right away for both of them, with the Magneto save happening once again for Luminosity.
I'm not surprised. There's never going to be a point, I believe, that you're ever going to be able to see Emma Frost and Magneto at the same time. So saving the Magneto, not surprised on the other side. Seeing Emma Frost go down, though, from both sides, you know, something else that I see within my own games sometimes.
Yeah, so far a repeated history here for the pick and bans. Now, Midtown was chosen by Luminosity, the losing team. And funny enough, 100 Thieves, they used to have kind of a hiccup on this map. They weren't great at it, and then they kind of overcame that in the MRC and the MRI. So maybe this was a nod back to those times. But Ultron being banned, they don't want anybody over there. No SJP, no Harvey playing the newest villain coming to Rivals. And we've got that Magneto save there for 100 Thieves.
Okay, so now seeing the next set of bans here, something that you highlighted before diving into our first game, Cozy, was the triple possible support bans from the red team. If LG decide to stick through this, which they didn't do, I believe, in their ban system for the first map, this is going to allow, you know, the support back line to get a little bit more creative if you're looking at 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and we spoke about it earlier before the tournament, but I said, you know, we might see some of these other teams try to get Jeff NATO out there at the Storm, because it is hard to stop, especially with no Iron Man. But this is where you can't get rid of the Punisher, right? Because they had this plan coming in. It was to shut down the core supports that they have. SJP was on that Loki, so no longer going to be available. But of course, that's going to open up an Invisible Woman comp. You've seen a lot of these main healers being shut down for one team and forcing them into a bit more uncomfortable roles. But they have this nail. Cloak Dagger has been their plan of attack with Harvey.
Wow, wait, so now seeing here too, this means that LG was like, we are not risking any chance of 24 seconds of immortality with the Loki plus Luna Snow. So they knew what they were doing out here too. Looking on the other side though, this is going to allow 100 Thieves to do exactly what we were wondering here. We're maybe going to see the Invisible Woman here from Harvey, yes. Or the Cloak and Dagger perhaps here too.
Okay, so we see this Black Panther, and if this stays, I've seen a lot of Black Panther today. We saw Sparker play it. We saw Necros play it when they got their win over at the EMEA. Yes, maybe in the typical ladder, Black Panther's not the greatest this season, but in the right hand, quick dash, what do you do? he can go crazy, that King of Wakanda here. But Delina, I've seen them flex over to Iron Man and the Flyers. No more Hella right now. We've got Iron Man, Tony Stark coming.
And what do you think here, going on to Midtown, how that's going to work into their favor too? Because Midtown also personally one of my favorite maps here at Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one, and I think it's great for Flyers. You have plenty of coverage and ways to get in and out. Also, have that cheeky ultimate as Iron Man. Now, Iron Man does sound like a trash truck flying. He's extremely loud in the air, but if you can be sneaky enough, you're able to get some huge wipes, and maybe that's what they're banking on here. As we have both teams, this is also, by the way, Vicky, the best loading map ever, going down that elevator, setting up the suspense for the offensive team.
Is great. It's not only that too, you get to hear a little bit of the little bot going in through the truck here too. Gonna see how this is gonna work out, and also maybe getting a little hit on what to expect already out of the gates as we get started within our second map.
Yeah, so here it is. We've got the Iron Man getting that nice poke damage with that AoE, the third blast, and that 5% anchor bonus that we see in season 2.5. Alfie trying to take that top angle here, the high ground, as Obi-Wan would say, as Alfie's trying to get the poke damage. They're going to work his way out, but I love their approach so far, trying to get a little bit of movement here on the cart. Most teams let them get about halfway before being aggressive.
Putting their attention, though, the way that LG is approaching, not only having some of their teammates on top of that point, but also trying to approach from the high ground here. Delena in a very tricky position too, so that way if Dylan needs to back away, you have that opportunity with already the first pick from Terra, and then the clap back from March being on that Hella.
Land and air. They've got Delina throwing in the explosions from the top, and Black Panther of Terra being a terror on the ground. And what a great way to utilize that burst damage and clean it up with the lack of damage that Black Panther does, but heavy and consistent elimination potential that we do see from Black Panther.
Also important to note with 100 Thieves, with SJP being on that rocket, that BRB beacon was already put down, bringing Delina right back into this fight. As we take a look at March finally trying to close in that gap, Haluk being able to take out SJP. One strategist already out. Delena trying to actually go around them, going in smoothing, but can't get away in time as Luminosity clear out that corner.
That starts with Haluk. Very good block of that Iron Man ultimate. Great job keeping the team alive and also showing aggression. That's exactly what you want to see from Luminosity after Krakoa and what happened there. Again, new map, new chance, and we've got both the shield tanks putting pressure on early with Strange and Magneto covering both the entrances, trying to get this point to the checkpoint here.
Oh, I have Agamotto here from Haluk here as well. Got the fate of both worlds just to keep the survivability and to right back on top of the fact that 100 Thieves have expended the Eternal Bond. Now going to be able to answer in from Luminosity. They have their own Eternal Bond. Let's see if TTK can find the mark. Answering back from the other side, though, it's going to be Alfie who gets the pick necessary. Although you have that BRB still online, but Luminosity, it's all the way through. No breaks here for this team. Another team fight win.
A symphony of supers, and everyone just hit the chorus at the same time. I mean, I've got to give it out to Luminosity for not using everything that they had in the bank, and mostly what we did see from 100 Thieves, they used it all. We even had Black Panther go over to Punisher. Nope, he doesn't want that. Now he's going to Wolverine. Terror showing what he can do in terms of flexibility, but you got to be just clapping your hands if you're a Luminosity fan, because this is how you want to start out. Great offensive push here, and they still have 2 ultimates to boot.
Herbie would be proud here for LG, the way that they're able to control so much of the space already going around the corner. They got March and that got us of Death ready to go, ready as well with that Ultron ult. Seeing we're making some changes already with Vinny and SJP now being on the Invisible Woman, and gonna see what they can do here with these changes.
I like the Thing play here. We're not seeing a ton of the Thing here in season 2.5, as March is going to go up with the huge rain from above, Goddess of Death. Not the best position, more of a zoning ult if anything, but 100 Thieves is going to play it safe, let them at least get down to this ramp. But great positioning here for Luminosity, but they've used everything, and now 100 Thieves have enough in the tank, and they don't even need it. Delena gets the pick on Haluk.
All that damage output as Delena's just running away with murder in the back here too. Now controlling the front end, though, is going to be Terra, and the Goddess of Death instead has been activated from the other side. You talk about the Thing, you talk about cobbling time, and you talk about finally stopping the momentum from LG.
I mean, you know, he never really left the pro scene, but I love Wolverine being back in the conversation. You know, Iron Fist taking a little bit more of a back seat in 2.5 with those nerfs he received. And we've got the true tank eliminator in Wolverine. Logan going crazy, and Terra showing a good job at that. Now, both support ults are ready to go. We have the distance of the invisible boundary or the up closeness of Eternal Bond. I like that with Vinny pairing up with the Eternal Bond for just constant pressure on Alfie and Haluk.
On the other side too, Spenny and Younghisu very close to getting their own strategist ults too. Delena still being a problem that he is. Looking over to the side with the way that LG is holding that high ground.
You always got to watch out for the Hella on the flank angle. This is where, you know, obviously the hero is just most deadly. We've seen Hella in every single meta. This is the flyer eliminator as well as just the sniper that can get the all-important pick on that strategist, as we do have the experimentation coming from Ultron. Will it be enough to push them down this hill?
This triple support composition from LG has worked great, but 100 Thieves answering right back with the Eternal Bond. It's going to answer too from LG. Here comes a Magneto Meteor from both ends, literally having a ball from the other side, but it is TTK that gets that first elim onto Spenny too. That's going to be huge here to prevent the survivability, but luckily on the other side, 100 Thieves having SJP, having that invisible boundary is going to force LG back.
I mean, they are in sync today. These Magnetos are going up together with their purple meteors, and this time it was TTK getting the last laugh and getting that all-important pick on the strategist of Cloak and taking them down. Vinny doing a nice job, and I love the Thing versus the Thing play here. I mean, this is something you don't see too much in ladder, at least right now, and both them doing a great job. Haluk pulling the ace right now with 7,000 and ton of damage block.
Also, Delena kind of leading the way when it comes to damage output compared to March by about almost 3,000 damage in total. That just highlights the progress in terms of positioning too that we've been able to see from Delena. Over to the side, trying to take a more flanking angle. This time though, March playing a lot more front heavy. Trying to play off to the back end before Delena just comes in from the same angle that Delena has been almost this entire game within this second point. Got it to death, perfect timing, literally at 2 HP before ringing it from above and finding Spenny.
I was just about to call out that Delena is known for these flank angles and being, they let him go. They let him be sneaky, and that is how you play Hella at the highest level. And you first start out with that Hella pick, and he got it going on March, who again is one of their best players, taking him out of the fight immediately. Listen, 100 Thieves, they bent a little bit. They did not break. They did a great job adjusting to their team comp, as now we have the portal coming, and this is going to be the last hope here for the push of Luminosity.
Well, that was a crazy free out to Terra, but it's too little too late. They can't make it on the point. And even though it's clobbering time somewhere else, maybe not the party that they were seeking, as the first round, they are halted all the way back, only taking that first checkpoint.
I mean, that was a glorious start, and then it fell a little bit flat. I will say though, this map is tough to go the full distance, so even getting, you know, a little something going is at least some momentum. But this is it. They've got to hold. If they want to avoid the lower bracket, this is where Luminosity has to pull out all the stops. And they're not changing much here from the comp we just saw. And listen, if I'm 100 Thieves, I'm pretty comfortable with what we just played, because that put a full stop to Luminosity.
What I do find really interesting is how 100 Thieves have been working around these strategist bans in general. We talk a lot about SJP and Harvey, but the rocket at the very beginning of that defense allowed Delena to come right back. We saw what a terror the Iron Man was from the very beginning, and then making the swap up once we had the Thing come into the equation, over to the Invisiwoman. A lot of back and forth here, but very quick realization of what you needed to change on the side of 100 Thieves.
And I like that we're getting a little bit of a peek of some of the strategies that we might see from 100 Thieves, this Iron Man and Black Panther comp. Obviously, the Punisher is great for that constant source of damage there. But really, it comes down, and I like to say this a lot with 100 Thieves, but their Vanguard play and strategist, they've got Terra, but it is so hard to pick them off. Harvey and SJP are so in sync to stay alive and pump out the heals.
They keep it up here, starting things off already. They're taking a different angle too. Look at the way the LG is positioned up on the high ground, but you can't sleep on who's coming up from behind you on the flank. Hand in hand, Delena also approaching with TTK before backing away, but it's also making LG focus all their attention without looking to your back. Here comes Terra to do the rest.
Terra just being, I mean, when has Wolverine been known to be sneaky? I mean, he just goes behind them like the animal that he is and gets a huge pick. And Delena, while getting the distraction turn, Haluk goes down as well, making it an easy way up the front main street for this payload.
Great first initial pick there too, literally splitting the attention of LG after losing now March. A bit of a stagger here too, losing out on Spenny, just a matter of time as he just swipes around, boosting up that rage even more.
Vicky, I swear, it looks like one team's playing chess, the other one's playing Jenga. This is just such a great job of 100 Thieves knowing exactly where they need to go, what positions they need to be at. We have Brady here in the backline trying to make something happen here with Ultron, getting dangerously low there as Vinny, the tree god, takes him down. And there's the first point.
This is what I'm afraid of, though. When there's momentum like this for 100 Thieves, there's been so much staggering on the side of Luminosity. There just hasn't been an opportunity for the whole team to regroup after losing out on that first player.
Yeah, it honestly just the dominance and clean and coordinated there. This is a tough map to reset as well and get out of there, especially for Brady. You're going to want to get out of there and as a third strategist, help out your team get back to this all-important hold. And this is the hold for the double elimination bracket. Luminosity will go down if they lose here, and Terra maybe going in this back end as Brady's throwing down the extermination, trying to get those supports picked. But no, everyone's hidden well, and that's the story of this map so far.
Yep, as everything is going to be able to reset right here, too. You're looking at 100 Thieves and what they have ready to go. TTK, obviously, with that Magneto ult Alfie 2. TTK taking a good amount of damage, though, but 100 Thieves have a plethora of ultimates to work off of with this.
Yeah, I mean, they've got everything but the kitchen sink here, and then Terra's about to include the kitchen sink as he hits up his ultimate. I mean, you're going to have to get something going, and March is going to try to get that started here with the Goddess of Death. We have double of them going up, but TTK able to at least do something here as he takes down Haluk, and this is looking rough here as this could be the swan song for Luminosity here in the top bracket.
At the same time, you've lost both of your Vanguards. March goes down right afterwards here. LGTTK making that statement right alongside Terra, who's been a terror for LG so far. Gets clobbered right in his face, just stunned him. Priorities just keep forcing LG to stagger.
I mean, listen, it's little things like TTK pulling out the bubble there for Cloak and Dagger, making them use the all-important cooldown. That was just perfection. You can't ask for anything else if you're 100 Thieves. And listen, Luminosity, you guys play fine, but you have to know you did just play 100 Thieves, so it's okay. You're in lower eliminations now, a lower bracket, and you can kind of regroup and get things ready. But if you're 100 Thieves, this is what you wanted to see.
Man, the way that we also just saw both Magnetos trying to counter the Cloak and Dagger, the invisible boundary at 1.2, quick adaptation here for 100 Thieves. And we talked about how dominating we saw Luminosity Gaming on their attack. Well, look how quick it was here looking at 100 Thieves, the way that they were just able to forcibly stagger LG.
Yeah, I mean, look at just the perfection across the board here. And again, it really comes down to just the double duelist play that I'll lean more into here in a second. I mean, you got the respawn timers, but for them, it was like reflection timers, just trying to think of what they can do to oppose this team. And as soon as they made this swap, which I think they have a few of these comps where if one thing is not working, they'll go to the other. And perhaps this was 100 Thieves trying to figure something out and try to test some of their comps that they're going to be showing us later. But one of the best in NA get the win on our first match today for Marvel Rivals Ignite.
We saw everything come out of the books, though, for LG. They tried the triple support. They even tried the triple Vanguard, as we saw into the Wolverines. Something very interesting here, too. But regardless, it is 100 Thieves that show off why they are one of the favorites here in America.
Yeah, and it's the little things, like I said, of getting rid of those cooldown, the cooldowns of something as important as the bubble or lanterns or the Luna ult, trying to just keep the team alive. But you said it best too. There's some staggering there that I would like to see cleaned up. And you could go back to the film room and check out what you've done. As I like to say, the last pick of the draft is Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL, and this is the same. Just because you're not the top team, it's irrelevant. You're here. You can make the dream happen, and we're going to see that a lot today in some of these heavier weighted David versus Goliath matchups, and our first one that we saw was right there.
Yeah, it's not going to be the only one, absolutely. We saw some of the highlights. That was a little rough to see. Alfie, unfortunately, missing out on that meteor, then swiping is Terra, literally forcing out some of these staggers. I also would love to highlight the coordination that we keep seeing from 100 Thieves. Not only does this team already have history playing with one another, they've been able to build up so much synergy, but you could see the way that they not only split a lot of the attention from LG, whether it be a lot of flanking opportunities, they find a little bit of resistance, will they have somebody else come in and split that attention from the other side of some of these hallways in these buildings, and it worked out beautifully there for 100 Thieves.
The teams that we've seen be able to put a lot of pressure on 100 Thieves are ones that can match the Hella, Energy, Cow, these great other Hellas that can match Delina, because if you don't, you have to worry about Terra, and the Delina's just going to pick off your team from the side. We saw that time and time again, and so you really have to have two elite duelists that can take care of the aim god and then also the king of flexibility, because if you think about it, Terra, one of the best duelists, you can eliminate Wolverine once, but you have to do it twice with that passive, and that seems OP. Game Shark cheat codes there for Terra, who just again displayed a great play overall.
And then, of course, we also saw the opportunity between like March and Delena. Good luck, because that was that 1v1 that I was not expecting, you know, LG to really come out on top, looking at the way that Delena was playing on that Legend. So it's going to be interesting to see how that really plays off. I mean, even the fact that having that Hela go into their flanks, as we usually see Hela, and then getting that extreme damage output, split some of that attention and also enabled the 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and listen, this is the start of it. We got 6 months, Marvel Rivals Ignite. This was the very beginning for America, and this is what I wanted to see at least. You know, 100 Thieves, they had the smallest of hiccups after the MRC and trying to get things cleaned up a bit, and they sure have maybe a couple weaknesses, but they got rid of anything and everything, clear minds, and just had a good time out there, and it showed, as they're going to be moving on, and we'll be watching them on Saturday and excited to see what that will bring. But all together, 2-0 Luminosity, you're going to find out who you'll be playing here pretty soon. A couple things to clean up, but yeah, not the worst performance.
And again, it's just double elimination too, right? So you have another opportunity here to iron out what you got to fix up so that you GG and go next and see what you have to do differently.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen teams from lower brackets go on to win it all. It happens plenty of times. It's not about how much win-loss. It's about just the final product there. So, yes, we start there. 100 Thieves, the top team. This is a lot of the elite play we're going to see. But I expect to see a bunch of different team comps. And that's what's beautiful about this pick and ban system is, unlike past Invitational and the Championship, the MRC, you kind of saw mirror comps in the same team comps, but here it's just something completely different. But one thing we're not going to see, Vicky, is Emma Frost. I don't think we're going to see any of her today. I mean, she's always banned.
Yeah. Honestly, it's very difficult. I don't blame the fact that we're seeing Emma Frost being banned a lot more consistently here too. It's usually one or the other, right? You either have Emma Frost or you have the Magneto that you don't get to see. But then in general too, you have to consider what Emma Frost does. Disrupting the piece is the best way that I could put it, at least in my own games. So whenever you have someone trying to grief you, you trying to pop an ult, you get command grabbed, and then you have to deal with the rest. It's difficult. But also combine that with, I mean, you look at 100 Thieves and you have an Emma Frost and a Gru, that's going to be incredibly difficult to navigate through too. So at the same time, LG just would rather deal with the Magneto than with the potential chance of seeing the Emma Frost and Groot together.
And what's great is Vinny has been known for his Groot, who obviously got nerfed a little bit heading from what we previously have seen him in. Still a fantastic character across the board. But what I like to see now is Vinny is flexing to that Magneto, and then we're having TTK, who is just great at Doctor Strange, playing his role. So if there's no Groot, you've got the 2 shield bros, and if there is, then you're able to have TTK flex Magneto or Doctor Strange. And top tier kid, again, plays on controller, was playing Strange before it was cool. I mean, the guy's been good in Electric at him for a long time.
It's incredible to see the different outputs that we also have going into Marvel Rivals. That's what Marvel Rivals is all about, right? Anybody being able to play here, and TTK displaying that being on controller is insane.
Yeah, and listen, we've got ourselves one of the best duelists that we just watched go crazy. And hey, let's have some fun. Let's bring him in on for an interview, and we're going to ask him some of the questions like Black Panther that I have not seen. I've watched a lot of Terra. Black Panther, not one of them. Let's welcome in Terra. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Hello. I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I mean, my man, we just saw you. The last time I saw you was the Invitational. Now you're here in your room. You guys are all together as a team. And listen, we saw Punisher. We saw Black Panther. Tell me about... First of all, tell me, Black Panther, I've not seen that from you, man. Is that just a fun pick? Is that something we're going to see more of potentially?
I can't say anything. It's leaking.
Oh.
You know, it's early into the meta. Nothing's set in stone.
Fair point.
That's interesting. So, I mean, off of that note, we're not revealing too much. What are your thoughts so far on the state of Season 2.5 and looking at the other regions? Because I feel like we've also been seeing a lot of a different outlook from these different regions and how they've been approaching the meta too.
I think the approach for the meta, like this meta is good, but it has some flaws in it, obviously. But the thing about this meta, it's very flexible. You have a lot of things that can be played and all that. There's like things that have like counterplays and that really don't have counterplays, like Jeff NATO. That's something that is a little bit overtuned in my opinion, because there's not a lot of counterplays. There's only like really 1 or 2, but it leaves a lot open to the meta. It's not just you just see 2 mirrors. It's either triple res or just triple tank or just group mirror. So the meta is really good now, except for some stuff that you can't control.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this new pick ban system? Obviously, it allows for much less mirror play, and I was even talking to Vicky. I thought we'd see some, you know, maybe Jeff Nados from teams that are trying to punch up above their weight a bit. You guys got rid of that pretty quickly, but what do you think of this new pick ban system here?
I think the pick ban system's really good. The only problem I think a lot of people like have is like how the bans aren't like together. So it's like, I mean, no, the protects aren't together. That's the main problem that a lot of people complain about.
Oh, okay. And I've got to ask also, just, hey, we saw you in that room. You guys were all together for the Invitational as your team got signed from Mutants to 100 Thieves. How is it now playing a part? How has that been, that transition? Have you guys gotten back together since then? Is it a lot different? Do you miss it?
I think so. It's just different lifestyle. Like, not a lot of us, like, this are for a lot of first timers, like, half our team is like first time being on a big org or even like flying out to events or anything like LA and all that stuff. So it's like a lot of people liked it, but obviously you miss a lot of stuff at home. You have stuff that's going on that you can't control. So it's like, it's a good mixture, I would say. Like, it's good having the life and then you go back sometimes to LA. So it's always good.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, you know, listen, Vicky, I always love asking this. If you have something to say, we're at the start of Ignite here. What do you have to say to everybody watching right now about 100 Thieves, about you, Tara, who is known as just an elite duelist? I want to give you the floor.
I'm literally just a kid from Canada. I just play the video game. That's kind of it. That's literally it. But what I would say is, for 100 Thieves, we picked up our new coaches, Millennia and Remix, and Remix wants us to get this 3 mil, and we're coming for it. That's what Remix says. Mark his words.
I like that. That's great. I love being able to hear a lot of that banter going back and forth here too. Thank you so much for talking to us, Tara, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a feeling we'll see you soon, buddy. I have a feeling that we will see you soon. It's always a good time talking to Tara. Just a kid from Canada, Vicky. You'll love to see it there. And hey, I like that he didn't want to spoil too much of the strats this early on.
Didn't want to reveal it, but also a bit of humble, you know, maybe not too humble at the same time too, but allowing him to explain exactly why they do the things that they do. And I'm always welcoming that going forward, especially after taking a nice clean 2-0, moving on through the stage 1 Group A bracket.
And there we go, guys. I swear there's going to be a pick'em site for here because I want to see y'all's predictions. We have 100 Thieves, though, advancing on, and LG going to that lower bracket, and then they will play the winner of Shikigami versus No Jobs, Jobless Bums. That will be a fun matchup. Very favorable early bracket here for 100 Thieves as these two teams as that top seed of the tournament. And then Envy there versus Fly. Again, a lot of great teams that they'll have to have in that kind of quarter semifinals that we'll see a little bit later on. But these teams, they've played each other. They're used to each other. I actually like when they play non-org teams because it's something they're not used to and they don't see often.
Well, because you don't really know what to expect, right? You're used to scrimming other very professional tier 1 teams, and then you try to implement that or solo queue into ranked yourself, and you completely see something very different in your own set of competitive matches, even if you're top 500 versus what you see in a competitive environment like this one right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in general, there's going to be matchups like we've seen where maybe there's one person expected to win, but I'm telling you guys, in these tournaments, why esports is so great is there's upsets all of the time. Don't go anywhere. We've got a great next match coming your way. We're going to take a quick break and we'll see you guys in just a second.